What's up, people? It's your girl Adeola. I don't even know where to start.
The problem about the cattle rearers and herders, I don't think people should underrate what happened in Libya. 43 years of Gaddafi, people were recruited from the Sahel. They were taught nothing other than to shoot and kill.
My dear, why do you have to play the video like that? I was not ready. I was still getting ready mentally. Don't you know this is not just an embarrassment? This one is an international embarrassment, and you just played the video like that. You know, Gaddafi must be turning in his grave.
We are doing our best.
Here we go again with the lies. If you are not from Nigeria, by the way, please know that Nigerian president is not doing anything to stop the killings by herdsmen. Between January and April of this year alone, more than 1,000 villages have been attacked by these herdsmen. More than 1,000 villages, as in they were going from village to village, and you're telling the world that you are doing your best. And at least 100,000 people have been displaced.
The state most concerned, they knew that the Nigerian herders never carried anything more than a stick and occasionally a machete to cut down foliage and give it to their animals.
Wait, do you smell something? Is he saying something else? Yeah, it must be the lights. Ooh, excuse me 1 minute.
President Buhari, I want to ask you, you're the first leader from sub-Saharan Africa to visit President Trump here at the White House. Did you address his reported comments from earlier this year when he reportedly used vulgar language to describe African nations?
Oh, this must be good. This is going to be good. Get me popcorn. What do you mean there is no popcorn?
I'm very careful with what the press says about others and myself. I'm not sure about, the validity or whether that allegation against the president was true or not. So the best thing for me is to keep quiet.
Baba Buhari, father. Okay, so I'm a little bit confused because when Trump allegedly called African countries shithole countries, excuse my language, the African Union released a memo. They condemned the statement and they even demanded for an apology from Trump. But when the president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, met with Trump, he did not say anything about the shithole comment, okay? And I'm like, that's weird. But now Buhari also met with Trump and he said he's not sure whether the comment is true, so it's best to shut up. I'm like, who is actually demanding for apology in the name of African Union? Is this how all African presidents will meet with Trump one by one and they will not talk about the comment? You see, this is how they suck up to Big Daddy. They have no liver, all these African presidents. They have no liver, except Mugabe, of course, which is why we miss him. They have no liver because they always have to come and beg for something. So can you blame him? Can you blame Buhari? The man came to beg Trump for helicopter. Honestly, African presidents are always acting like beggars. They never think of being self-sufficient when it comes to basic things. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't trade with the world, but they don't think about developing their own countries or manufacturing their own equipment. They always think about how to receive, not how to trade. Very soon I'll talk about Jakarta Steel Company in Nigeria. But do you guys know that Nigeria has all it needs to manufacture helicopters, to build planes, to build skyscrapers, and manufacture weapons? Yes, we have everything that we need. I know that these things take time to develop, but they are not doing any work towards it. There's no projection that, in the next 3 years, this is what we'll be doing, this is what we'll be making. There is nothing like that. We always have to go and beg.
Nigeria is in their need of the Tucano aircraft to tackle the problem back home. Will you be kind enough to release at least 2 before 2020?
Excuse me, Auntie Juliana. It's nice seeing you. Let me look here in case you're watching. First of all, I will not make fun of your hand that was shaking. Don't mind enemies of progress. They have no idea what it's like to be a journalist. In fact, the fact that your hand was shaking tells me that you've not been given enough opportunities to do something like this. As a matter of fact, I blame it on the president. He never holds press conference. The last time he had a media chat with a few journalists was in 2015. It's going to 3 years now. How can you call yourself president and not hold press conference period? In fact, it is usually when the man is outside the country that he takes questions. Have you noticed? And then when other presidents come to visit Nigeria, he doesn't allow journalists to ask them questions. They don't organize anything like that. Like when Paul Biya visited Nigeria, and it's not just Buhari, by the way, all Nigerian presidents, they don't do press conference. Well, they don't do it, So I can understand my sister. In this situation, she wasn't just facing Buhari. American president was also there, and she had not been practicing firing questions at Buhari. So why would her hand shake? So all of you that are making fun of Auntie Julia, God knows your address. Go and park somewhere. So now that I have defended your shaking hand, my sister, that's your question.
Nigeria is in their need of the Tucano aircraft to tackle the problem back home.
Okay, first of all, we are not in dire need of any helicopter. America, please listen to this. We are not in dire need of any helicopter. We are in dire need of a true leader that truly cares about the lives of his people. One community buried more than 70 people in one day, and the president did not show up there. He doesn't need that helicopter to be there. He doesn't need these helicopters to send soldiers to go after the herdsmen that are killing people. And we don't need helicopters for him to act like a normal human being that actually knows the value of life. So many wives, so many husbands, fathers, children have been butchered like they were animals. Thousands of people have lost limbs. He doesn't need helicopter to declare these people terrorists and go after them. So can we stop with the whole idea of we are not in dire need of any helicopter? Thank you very much. Oh, by the way, this is just between me and you.
Will you be kind enough to release at least 2 before 2020?
In case you're watching, so the way you asked that question though made some people enemies of progress. It made some people think that maybe it was Buhari's people that told you to ask that question, thinking that it will speed up the process of America releasing the helicopter. Not me, by the way. I'm just saying that these are what some enemies of progress are saying. Remember that as journalists, we don't make fun of each other.
In terms of corruption, Nigeria has a reputation, as you understand very well, for very massive corruption. I also know that the president has been able to cut that down very substantially.
Trump, stay in one lane. Stop doing like this, The same mouth said Nigeria has a reputation. The same mouth said corruption has reduced.
It's doing like this. It's doing like this.
Thank you, Daddy, my father. Of course, you were there. You saw everything.
Well, I would like to visit Nigeria. I'd like very much to visit Nigeria. It's an amazing country, and in certain ways, I hear from the standpoint of the beauty of a country, there's no country more beautiful.
Okay, that's it. I give up. I'll see you guys later. Trump, let me come back. Everybody knows that American president likes to make stuff up. Even Nigerians have issues with that, your statement. Mr. Trump. Yes, Nigeria is beautiful. We have beautiful places. We have nice roads and running water, most especially where our politicians live. But saying that there is no country more beautiful, the devil is a liar. How do you know? Forget about Nigeria. Has the man been to Africa at all? He has never been to Africa. Okay, never mind. We're supposed to say things like Nigerians are very beautiful people. A lot of Nigerian doctors are saving the lives of Americans here in America. We are very creative. We are very smart. We have beautiful cultural ways. I know that sometimes we can be loud. That's okay. But for you to say that there is no country more beautiful when our leaders are sabotaging the beauty harbor, Trump,
The United States import of crude oil from Nigeria has considerably gone down. Did you discuss the need for the U.S. to increase its import of crude oil from Nigeria?
My brother, so nice meeting you. Thank you so much for your question. Let me look at it in case you're watching. You want Buhari to beg America to go back to buying oil from Nigeria? Okay, no offense in case you're watching, my brother. Do you know that Norway is getting rid of vehicles that are using petrol by 2025? That is in 7 years' time. Do you know that Germany is doing the same thing by 2030? That is in 12 years' time. So is the Netherlands, China, UK, France, even India. You know, do you know that all these countries also buy from Nigeria? America used to be our biggest buyer, and now it is India. And by 2030, only electric cars would be sold in India. So the fact that you wanted Buhari to discuss buying petrol with Trump shows that we're not looking ahead. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Nigerians and our government now. It shows that we're not looking ahead and we're not preparing for the inevitable. The rest of the world is moving away from fossil fuel, and Nigeria refuses to diversify its economy. We're still shouting oil money, oil money. Even Saudi Arabia, the world's largest oil producer, announced to the world that they now have a plan to diversify their economy. I was thinking maybe some other time that question could have been something like, Mr. President, America is no longer buying oil from us. Several countries that are buying right now have also announced that very soon they are moving away from depending on oil. What are you doing to diversify our economy before we lose all our customers? Besides agriculture, by the way, I know that we are investing in agriculture, but besides that, when would we invest in technology? But having said that, I'm not saying that you didn't do a good job, my brother in the Lord. Thank you very much for asking that question. So as usual, I like to hear from you guys. What do you think about Buhari's meeting with Trump? Please put your observation in the comments below. You guys know I don't know much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real.